what you've been told. Earls Court has been sold. We are here to fight today to keep privatisation far away.
So I'm here outside the iconic Earls Court Exhibition Centre in southwest London, and there's a protest going on today against a vast redevelopment happening down here. Somebody told me earlier it's the biggest redevelopment site outside of China.
Yeah, my name's Guy Rubin. I'm the Green Party candidate for Chelsea and Fulham, and I'm here because I'm opposed to this development, which is going to do nothing for local people. What's happening is the Earls Court Exhibition Centre will be demolished. Local housing estates at West Kensington and Gibbs Green will also be demolished. A massive amount of luxury housing will be built, 7,500 units of luxury housing. There'll also be tremendous environmental damage as it happens, lots of extra traffic, lots of extra pollution. And we're also very concerned about the asbestos removal. Nobody really knows what's happening with that, and we're quite concerned about the effects on public health as well. So it's really bad. It's long-term bad news because we're not getting the housing we need, and it's short-term bad news in terms of more pollution and more disruption for local people.
This Earls Court Exhibition Centre sits on obviously prime estate. This is a very expensive part of London. Behind us here is South Kensington, and people talk about the possible the regeneration being an extension of Sloane Square. So we're talking about, internationally famous streets, and then it expanding outside, by a mile or two, hitting here. On the back of the Earls Court plot here, there's two housing estates called West Kensington and Gibbs Green, and I live in one of the houses on that estate. It seemed to me that about 5, 6, 7 years ago, the developers had a look at this area and peeped over the wall and said, "What's that?" And somebody said, "Oh, just a few houses." And suddenly that was scooped into this regeneration plot. So it became 77 acres, which apparently is the largest regeneration programme ever outside of China.
So why do they require the demolition of 760 units in the West Kensington and Gibbs Green estate? It's ludicrous. The buildings are fine. These communities have been built up over the years, and yet they wish to demolish it and actually change the space that people are going to be going into. So what we have here is a classic example of developer-led urban planning rather than urban planning responding to need.
Why should the poor pay? Why should the poor pay? Why should the poor pay the bankers' bills? Bankers' bills?
Particularly concerned that we're going to get 7,500 units of housing and none of it is affordable, and basically it's aimed at kind of rich people. Local people here won't be able to afford it. I'm also really concerned about the demolition of Earls Court, which is an iconic local institution, and there'll be really bad effects also on independent businesses locally here, which will close down. So all in all, I think it's really bad news.
We won't pay, no! We won't pay, no! We won't pay bankers' bills! Bankers' bills!
And I think there's a particularly interesting issue, which not a lot of people know about, which is that the site was valued at artificially low in order to then argue that they didn't really need to provide enough affordable housing. And that's a scandal, and that's one of the reasons we need a public inquiry, is to look into why that valuation was done in that way. And let's have a proper valuation, let's have some affordable housing.
My name's Carlos Barros, I'm a RMT rep for the London Underground. Our branch is this local branch, and a few of our members for the Piccadilly and West RMT branch are members who work in Lillie Bridge Depot.
So what's happening? They're demolishing Lillie Bridge Depot?
Yep, they're demolishing Lillie Bridge Depot. Basically, Capco have colluded with TfL and sold off land on the cheap between them. So there's a nice cosy deal between them and Boris and everyone else involved in TfL. And here we are, social cleansing 2015.
So the protesters moved from Earls Court down the road here to the offices of the developers Capco, and One thing's for sure about this demonstration today, it's certainly got the best chance that I've heard on any demonstration, possibly ever.
Johnson, what shall we do with Boris Johnson? What shall we do with Boris Johnson? Ally in the kick him out and make him homeless. Kick him out and make him homeless. Send him to the food bank. I'm going for a cigarette.
There's enough property for sale in Earls Court. We need our exhibition centre. It brings more money to Earls Court than all these empty flats that are up for, what, over $1 million for a studio flat in this area now. We don't need any more buildings. What we're doing here is serving an eviction notice on Capco to get them to leave Earls Court alone, to leave our exhibition centre, and hopefully leave Earls Court altogether and take Boris with them. That's what we want.
Well, I'm calling for a public inquiry. The planning permission, unfortunately, the Tory council in Kensington, Chelsea and Hammersmith and Fulham, as it was then, gave permission for it. But I'm calling for a public inquiry into it. I think we could still stop it. I'm calling for the Secretary of State to call a public inquiry into this. It's not what local people need.
We shall not be moved. We shall not be moved. I'm getting up though.